Baalbek stones. The Baalbek stones are one of the enduring mysteries of the Roman age. The 6 huge stone blocks lie scattered in Lebanon's historic Bekaa Valley, home to the ancient city of Heliopolis, now Baalbek. Baal meaning Lord, God, or Son to the Phoenicians. Sitting on top of Tel Baalbek is a 2,000-year-old Roman temple of Jupiter that was built on top of 3 colossal stones, known as the Trilithon, or 3 stones. Each one of these stones is 19 meters long, 4.2 meters high, and 3.6 meters thick, weighing around 750 to 800 tons. The remaining 3 stones are not part of the larger structure and sit within the ancient limestone quarry 900 meters away from where the Trilithon originated. Named Roman Monoliths, the size of these stones have puzzled archaeologists for being unnecessarily large. The first to be discovered by archaeologists was the stone of the pregnant woman, a 1,000-ton megalith that sits half-buried in the ground. Although it is the smallest, it's the most famous due to its fine condition and the fact that it has never been fully hidden by the earth. There are also multiple stories behind the name. One story tells of a pregnant woman who tricked the people of Baalbek into believing that she could move the stone if they fed her until she gave birth. Another suggests the name comes from the legend that pregnant jinn, or genies as they are known in the West, were assigned the task of cutting and moving the stone. Others propose that the name reflects the belief that a woman who touches the stone experiences increased fertility. The second monolith, the stone of the south, was discovered in the 1990s and weighs slightly more at 1,242 tons. But the most intriguing of the 3 monoliths is the Forgotten Stone. In 2014, archaeologists from the German Archaeological Institute found the last Baalbek stone right next to and underneath the stone of the pregnant woman. Measuring a staggering 1,497 tons, the Forgotten Stone is the largest stone ever quarried in human history, and has raised many questions about how the Romans, with their limited advanced machinery, would have transported stone slabs of such immense size. Nobody seems to know on whose orders the stones were cut, or why they came to be abandoned. It would have been much more practical to move many smaller stones into the temple structure, like most other Roman structures. In the case of the Trilithon, it is suggested that the stones were moved using a pulley system, and due to the Temple of Jupiter's position on higher ground than the quarry, it would have been especially difficult to do this. As for the remaining 3 stones, they are believed to have been intended for the nearby Jupiter Baal complex, possibly as an addition to the Trilithon, but perhaps due to their size, they were never removed from their quarry. Longview Caves. In June of 1992, when 4 Chinese farmers were draining the water of 5 small ponds in their village of Xi'an they discovered that the ponds were in fact 5 large man-made caverns. Myths about the local pond's bottomless properties were the talk of local legend for as long as anyone could remember. Upon further investigation, 19 other artificial sandstone caverns were found, making up what is known as the Longview Caves, or Shaunenhai stone chambers. The caves have been determined to be more than 2,000 years old and represent one of the largest underground excavations of ancient times. Since their discovery in 1992, the caves have continued to perplex experts, with no idea how, why, or by whom the caves were built. Their construction was omitted from any historical documents, and considering how diligent the ancient Chinese were at documenting such things, this is particularly puzzling. Estimations of the manpower involved in the building of Longview Caves are incredibly remarkable. The quantity of rock that would have to be removed for the cave's excavation is estimated to be nearly 1 million cubic meters. Considering the average digging rate per day per person, experts have suggested that it would take 1,000 people working 24 hours for 6 years to complete. That's not even taking into account the artistry displayed in each of the caves. Every single one of the caves is covered in parallel lines that have been chiseled into virtually every surface, as well as intricate carvings on the walls. With the cave equating to about 30,000 square meters, there was certainly enormous manpower needed to create these endless caves. Despite years of research, very few answers have emerged to explain the enigma of the Longview Caves. Of the many wondrous buildings that have emerged from our ancient ancestors, this discovery from China is a truly unsolved mystery. Gobekli Tepa. Gobekli Tepa, located in the southeastern Anatolia region of Turkey, was examined and dismissed by the University of Chicago and Istanbul University anthropologists in the 1960s. After a sweeping survey of the area, they concluded that the mound was nothing more than an abandoned medieval cemetery. In 1994, Klaus Schmidt, a German archaeologist, decided to take another look. He'd read a brief mention of the stone-littered hill, and from the first moment he saw it, he knew the place was extraordinary. Returning a year later, Schmidt and 5 colleagues uncovered the first megaliths. However, there was no evidence of any settlements, with Schmidt concluding that it was likely a place of worship, humanity's first cathedral on a hill. Predating Stonehenge by more than 6,000 years, Gobekli Tepa is dated to the pre-pottery Neolithic, between 9500 and 8000 BC, and comprises several large circular structures supported by massive stone pillars, the world's oldest megaliths. The date Gobekli Tepa was constructed predates metal tools and even pottery. Considering the limestone material of the sloping, rocky ground, Schmidt believed that even without metal chisels or hammers, prehistoric masons wielding flint tools would have been able to chip away at the softer limestone, shaping them into pillars before moving them across to the summit and lifting them upright. Schmidt thought that small, nomadic bands from across the region would have come to Gobekli Tepa, motivated by their beliefs to join forces on the hilltop, to build, hold great feasts, and then scatter again. Since 1998, Schmidt has examined more than 100,000 bone fragments, more than 60% of which are gazelles. Carvings of abstract anthropomorphic details, clothing, and reliefs of wild animals give rare insights into prehistoric religion. The answers to the riddles of Gobekli Tepa may not be known for many years. As of 2021, less than 5% of the site had been excavated, with future generations of archaeologists likely to uncover Gobekli Tepa's mysteries in the years to come. NonMadul. NonMadul, the only ancient city built atop a coral reef, is situated on the island of Pohnpei, part of the Federated States of Micronesia and surrounded by the vast Pacific Ocean. The city is constructed in a lagoon and consists of a series of 92 small artificial islands linked by a network of canals. Made of stones and columns so heavy no one knows how they were able to be built, NonMadul was home to the Sandalur people for more than 1,000 years until about 1628. The Sandalur were deeply religious and sometimes cruel. Founded in the 6th century, the Sandalur religion was focused on the admiration of the sea. On their third attempt to build a political, religious, and residential center, they focused on the patch of coral flats that would make up the NonMadul we see today. The NonMadul megalithic iteration began being built around the 13th century, and given Pohnpei's population at the time of around 25,000, the building of NonMadul represented a much bigger effort than the pyramids of Egypt. The total weight of the black rocks moved to build the city is estimated at around 750,000 metric tons, an average of 1,850 tons a year over 4 centuries. The entire population would have been involved in the city's construction. Legend has it that the ruins of this ancient city, once home to a mysterious civilization, abound with uncharted corridors. Those channels connect the man-made islets and possess tombs containing the remains of giants and spirits of dead kings. The locals believe that the builders used magic to transport the stones to the island. In 1907, Germans governed the island. One governor, Victor Berg, dared to disregard the royal ban on entering the city and went into a sealed tomb on the island. Opening the coffin of the ancient island rulers, he found the skeletal remains of giants, measuring about 2 to 3 meters tall. That night, the island came alive with spirit activity, and a wild storm came about with lightning flashes in the sky. Governor Victor Berg lay in delirium, hearing the sounds of a conch shell blowing. The next morning, Governor Berg is thought to have died. A German physician could not determine the cause of death, but natives were certain his death was a curse from the gods for his blatant disregard. The ruined city, sometimes called Atlantis or the Venice of the Pacific, is still one of today's great archaeological enigmas. Bolas de Piedra. The stone spheres of Costa Rica, also known as Bolas de Piedra, are an assortment of over 300 stone balls or petrospheres that litter the Daquis Delta and Isla del Cano. The spheres were discovered in the 1930s when the United Fruit Company cleared the jungle area for banana plantations. Unaware of their significance, workmen pushed them aside with bulldozers and heavy machinery, and in turn damaged some of them significantly. Stories of hidden gold also inspired some workmen to drill holes in the spheres and blow them open with sticks of dynamite. By the time authorities intervened, some of the stones had been completely destroyed. A scientific investigation of the stones was undertaken shortly after their discovery by Doris Stone, daughter of a United Fruit executive. After her first publication of the stories in 1943, the stones attracted the attention of Samuel Kirkland Lothrop of Harvard University. It is believed that the stones were first created around the year 600, with most dating to after 1000. The culture of the people who made the Bolas de Piedra is thought to have disappeared after the Spanish conquest, and little is known about them. Many myths surround the understanding of the stones and their purpose. Local legends suggest that the stones resulted from a potion able to soften and mold the rock. Others talk of how the stones came from Atlantis, the lost city often mentioned in Plato's works. According to some archaeologists, the spheres could represent solar systems or various stages of the sun and the moon. They are thought to have been placed in lines along the approach to the houses of chiefs, but their exact significance remains unknown. Thank you for watching Dark 5. Don't forget to like and subscribe to continue exploring the greatest mysteries of this world and beyond. Your support and engagement help my videos get seen by even more people. And let me know if there are any other ancient mysteries you would like me to investigate.